is a recent paid ad, which we actually ran it on that particular property that we ran for 10 days, $100. We basically did $10 a day, or maybe it was 11 days, so a little less than $10 a day. But this is showing the performance on that ad, right? 3,300 views, 155 clicks, 20 leads. This is a split of the page. So if you scroll down on that page, whoops, sorry about that. I'm scrolling like I can scroll down on the page. If you scroll down on the page, actually at the bottom is the list of contacts. It's going to show the number of contacts that were captured. You don't have to worry about this here because they're actually being captured directly into Command. This is just showing what was captured. So 20 contacts captured with email, with phone number, and this is the date that they were captured, right? So we started this on the 11th. You can see we got 3 the first day, 2 the next day, 3 the next day, 1 the next day, 3 the next day, and then so on and so forth through the end of the campaign. And so basically 20 contacts, average cost per lead, $4.50. I'm finding that regardless of what campaign we run, the average cost per lead looks to be $4 to $6. So if you run a $50 campaign, you're going to get 10, 11 contacts basically. It's been pretty consistent in terms of what it's been delivering. I will say this is 20 contacts. They do edit out a few. You will get some garbage contacts that come through, and you'll see that as soon as they come through. You can just ignore them, or archive the contact. But back on the performance, that performance that we saw on Command, which hadn't filled out yet, right? Because that one was still pending and hadn't started yet. These things will start to fill in once the campaign's actually running.
With these analytics too, I always like to look at the difference between clicks and contacts, because that kind of shows you what that's revealing is how many people actually were interested in clicking on it, but how many were actually willing to submit their information to get additional information. Right. So as you're doing more and more ads, comparing them side by side, those are 2 things I always look and compare. Of it got a lot of clicks, and then it shows you the difference of who actually went all the way through.
Yep.
Have either of you seen any closings from this type of campaign? And if so, what, about how many leads does it take to get to
yes, if you watch Tyler's, we've only been running them for a short period of time. We haven't seen any closings yet, but we have started to get into communication with folks. And Dan, the other thing I say too is what's important is to be intentional about this and remain in contact with them, because a lot of these folks, just to be straightforward, right? A lot of these folks are just browsing, as Cameron said right now. That doesn't mean that they aren't going to transact at some point, right? So if you keep them on a touch plan, and they may opt out, right? They may opt out of your emails, or they may say, stop texting me. In that case, you should respect that, obviously.
Right.
You should come from a place of value and contribution, like giving them information that's valuable to them. But part of it is just trying to say it's top of mind with them when they get to that point where they are transacting, right? Tyler talks about in that video about how he had a lead that came in 3 years ago, right? And he just kept them on a touch plan, and then they ultimately turned into a contact, into business. The funnel is, it's probably going to be like a 1 to 3% conversion on the funnel. So it does require work, but if you're making use of smart plans, kind of like automated ways to stay in touch with folks and to stay top of mind, that's a way for you to leverage Command to do that. At some point, obviously, you want to be, especially in the early stages of receiving a lead, you do want to try to call them to get in touch with them, because you do want to try to have a conversation with them. But you do have to go into this with eyes wide open. You will get leads. There's no question about it, right? People will come in and you'll get their contact information, but it is about being deliberate and being intentional with following up with them from a place of value and a place of contribution. Make sense?
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead.
I mentioned too, I think that, being intentional on these is the biggest part, but it also goes beyond kind of the leads too. If you think about, all the different types of marketing that agents do, this is also putting your brand out there in front of people. And it's also a great thing. I've seen agents take these analytics and show their sellers, like, this is what we're doing to market your property. Or if it's like part of your listing presentation too, these are the type of ads we run. These are the results we get and stuff like that as well. So yes, they are focused on, getting those leads, and you should be intentional on doing that, but it also has a little bit bigger scope to include, for your marketing efforts as for your business.
Absolutely.